Yeah, that's me. I'm good on that front. I got all my stuff going.
I did have a thing open that was lagging my PC, but I think I've closed it. No, I didn't. Hold on.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's fine. I've got that closed. We should be good. Yeah, PC feeling better now. All right.
What kind of PC do you have?
I'm some cracked out beast, bro.
Bro, you have to, right? So why is it lagging?
No, it's not. It's like the Audacity wave file just looks like it's lagging, but it's just how the program works.
Anyway, if you're ready to go, let's do it.
Yeah,
bro.
hit me with it. I'm down.
Ali, great to have you here, bro. How's it going, man?
Good to talk to you again. I feel like it's been a long time. You're out in Sweden. I'm still stuck in my home in the UK, and it's been a weird year, hasn't it? It's been a weird year.
Dude, it's been super weird, and yeah, thank you very much for joining me, bro. Like, some people don't realize when you do YouTube stuff, you make a lot of friends in different places that maybe your viewers aren't aware of. So, to everybody watching, Ali, I think we first met in like 2014 or something, maybe even 2013.
Oh man, a long time ago. I don't want to digress too much, but I've gone to so many events and met so many people.
This is bro, Ali. It's a podcast. Digress as much as you want, mate.
I want to create this I've got a few documents I want to create, and one of them is like a timeline-based document where I go as far back as probably the beginning of my YouTube career and just re-document every event I went to, everything that I've done, who I met, pictures, and write notes, because I'm 26 and I can't remember what I did 3 years ago or 6 months ago. And like when I'm older, I want to be able to look back and be like, yeah, that's when I went to Eurogamer and met these guys and did that. Like I want to be able to remember it. So yeah, when you're like, oh, we met then, I'm like, dude, I don't remember when it happened. It's quite sad, unfortunately.
I guess it's the same for me, man. But it's crazy. You mentioned when you started doing the YouTube stuff, because bro, you've been going hard for what, 10 years plus?
Yeah, the weird thing is, technically,
because you started Modern Warfare 2, no?
I think maybe even earlier. It was basically my first video. It was January 2009. Whether or not that was my first video that's live or first video that I ever did, I can't remember. But technically, coming up to 11 years. That's kind of mad.
That's absolutely insane. Why did you start? How did it happen?
Back then, the idea of just sharing gaming clips was a really cool thing, and I had friends in school and also friends outside of school. So I've always had like different friendship groups which have overlapped in different ways, but they all sort of enjoyed gaming. And the idea back then, like if you played games, yeah, maybe you jump on COD, but a lot of my friends, we'd like invite each other over and play. And to be able to capture those moments and have them then on the internet that I could share was just an awesome idea. And there wasn't anything out there that was like, this is a video game capture card. Like that didn't exist. So I had to go online and be like, what's this Dazzle? And like the box of a Dazzle, which is the first capture card I ever had, by the way, which recorded in standard definition. It shows like families with like a camera recorder being like, save your camera recorder footage. And I'm like, no, I'm going to hook it up to my 360 and record that instead, you know? So yeah, it started off back then just wanting to share gaming moments really and like have those moments live on longer than just that moment they happened in, basically.
And you were what, like 14, 15?
Yes, I'm 26 now, sort of 10 years ago, so probably about 15 maybe, I think. Yeah.
I'll get them up on the screen if they're still on your channel, but what were your first videos on YouTube? Just you and your mates playing COD?
So first videos aren't on my channel anymore. I actually have been and still am a giant Nintendo fanboy, like die-hard Nintendo fanboy. So my first videos, I didn't have a PlayStation. My parents wouldn't allow me to play COD. So my first console that I started recording on was the Nintendo Wii. And I got my older mate to go ahead and give me 1 second. Actually, my battery's just died. I will continue that story. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's fine. We out here editing, bro. It's all good.
So your boy had a Nintendo Wii, loved it, and I got my friend to go into game because he was older than me and buy World at War on the Wii, and then he gave it to me in like this secret black market exchange at the tennis courts near my parents' house. And I started playing on the Wii. I got into like clans and like online communities. And it's funny because back then you couldn't go on YouTube and like follow someone and have a community on YouTube. Your communities were like forum based. It was all quite like old school. So I was on like a lot of forums and, you know, like chatting in different threads about like which games we played and how good we were. So yeah, but those are all privated. My first public video, I think, is Modern Warfare 2 on a PlayStation maybe. But yeah, it's all very, the videos are not very good. They haven't aged well at all, unfortunately.
Bro, I think a lot of us privated many of our first videos. So my first videos on YouTube, because I always want to start making gaming content. My first video, but I didn't have, like you, a capture card at the time. I didn't have money to buy one either. No. And so I made like this weekly show where I go over like pop culture, like this movie's come out, blah, 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 that type of thing. I haven't privated them, but even before then, me and my friends made like spoof music videos, like covering rap songs.
Yeah.
And like things like that, which they're all privated. If anyone tries to find them, they're not online.
They're gone. That's the funny thing. I think if you get into YouTube, you've probably got some sort of creative streak in you. And like a lot of YouTubers, when they do go back and watch their old stuff, it's like, here's a skit we made with our mates in my bedroom. Like, it's really cringy, terrible stuff. But you got to remember, there wasn't like a precedence to follow. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to go on YouTube and here's like a James Charles makeup tutorial. Look how good the lighting is. I'm going to copy that. Like, we were like pioneering content and it was rubbish. And you got to go through those rubbish phases to get to the good stuff. So that's why the stuff doesn't exist online anymore, because it's so bad.
Bro, that's such a good piece of information to anybody out there thinking about doing this. Because when we all first started, even someone like Ali, who's one of the most successful YouTubers that there is, when we started, it's you start from the very bottom. Like, you don't know how things are going to go, and I think it's one of Ali, like, for people, one of the biggest stumbling blocks or like hurdles or walls is doing that first video, forcing yourself to make something. Because even at the time, you might know that it's a bit pants, it's a bit rubbish, but like that's how it starts, right?
Yeah, no, 100%. I think, like I was quite young, 15. And like me as a person, I've changed a lot during those 10 years of making content. And the person that I am behind the camera has evolved a lot. And now I can turn on the camera, write a tweet, post an Instagram picture. And like, it's just me putting something out there. And, you know, whatever people say about it, I've sort of disconnected myself from it because I'm happy with who I am. That's going quite deep there. But back like 10 years ago, like I didn't really know who I was. So I was putting something out there really unconfidently because I'm like, I don't know what I should be doing, you know what I mean? But it's an evolution process and you have to go through just trying it. I remember, I don't know if I should say this, but I remember, so basically back then you didn't have face cam. It was all audio over pre-recorded Call of Duty clips, a lot of it back then. And I remember basically maybe like 5 videos in a row, every video I changed the way I spoke to try and work out the best way. And I remember someone be like, bro, you sound like David Attenborough in this one. I'm like, okay, not that one. And now I just talk, obviously, but yeah, it's crazy. Like there's such an evolution process to that. It's crazy.
One of the reasons that I've been so I asked Ali if he wanted to do this like a couple of weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. And when he said, yeah, he's down, I was super excited because I don't think you've really done something like this before. And I don't think a lot of people realise how genuine you are in your videos. Like, if you speak to anyone that's met Ali in real life, you will never hear a bad review. Ali is one of those people where everyone knows Ali's like a super nice guy, he's super natural and super friendly, and that comes across in your videos. But I don't know if a lot of people actually know that's really how you are. Is it nice for you in a format like this to be able to just talk a bit about yourself and just without having to like speak about a game or anything like that, and just be yourself without having to worry about the content side of things?
Yeah, no, it is nice. And I think like I know that like I'm a nice laid back guy and I'm not going to be a douchebag if like I bump into a fan. And if then someone watches one of my game videos and they think that for whatever reason they don't like me, or they've interpreted something badly that I've said and have decided to leave a nasty comment, I can take a step back from that and be like, well, I don't really feel that's a real reflection on who I am. So it's nice definitely to be able to come on here and just chat casually and just, you know, have a conversation that's more me. But at the same time, I quite like having that slight disconnect where I do rely quite heavily on the game I'm playing or the information I'm talking about to carry my videos. And it's nice in a sense then, because if there is any like hyper-targeted nasty comments, I can disconnect it between me as a person and the thing you're watching on screen, which I think is good for your own mental health to be able to do that. And I definitely feel more for the people that fully give themselves, like a lot of these vloggers and people that really invest heavily in them and their content is them. It is probably the best form of content you can make, because putting yourself out there and garnering a fan base that is hyper interested in you is the ultimate goal, but is also very risky, because if you do anything wrong, or if someone doesn't like something about you, that is a direct reflection on you as a person, which isn't always easy to digest mentally.
Definitely not. Generally speaking, people that have made it as far as you have in the industry and that have the breadth of audience, etc., they don't really know exactly how you are as a person. The same can be applied to me and many other creators. But what I was saying is that the way you come across in your videos, whilst you are presenting stuff, man, that's how you are, dude. You're like just like a nice, happy person. And that's one of the reasons why I've been excited to do this, so that you can just chat a bit more about yourself and like...
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, no, I do get that. And I think,
for anyone that isn't aware, like this is you, man. This is how you are, and you and your videos, that's how you are.
Yeah. I mean, I did sort of bring up the fact that, that the game carries a lot of my videos, and it's not like I'm putting a fake persona across, but at the end of the day, my videos aren't being carried by me. I'm just there as the voice for a lot of the things I'm doing in my videos. But yeah, like I'm a happy guy. I am quite loud and obnoxious sometimes, and yeah, I like to chat to people, have nice conversations, and this is a great place to do that, outside of sort of the gaming side of my videos that I normally do. So yeah, no, I've been looking forward to this as well.
Make sure you give yourself credit, mate. Like, the voice is important. Like, obviously, so what I feel that you're referring to is like the game, when you say the game's carrying, you're talking about doing things where in the algorithms, thumbnail titles, etc. But your voice is an important part of that. Your images as well. Like, you're a fantastic presenter when you're doing these videos. But do you then personally, you see more so yourself benefiting from circumstance in the games as opposed to Ali? Because I don't think anyone can do what you've done and got it to the level that you have.
I don't know. I always would put a lot of my success down to just capitalizing on trends and being able to create good content around things that are big within the gaming scene at that time that I have an interest in. Like, I could jump on Roblox, for example, because it's huge, but I don't really have an interest in that. So I followed my own interests and applied my knowledge of YouTube to create content. So, when you get comments like, oh, you ditched Call of Duty for Fortnite, like, really, that happened at such a good time for me. Like, I was mentally at quite a low point because Call of Duty was so dead like 3.5 years ago. The views were really low, like the lowest I've ever been. The game, there wasn't anything interesting to do. Everything had been done within the Call of Duty space. And then Fortnite came along and I was like, I love this game. Views are banging. So like, it worked out really well for me. But yeah, I think to be a successful creator, and the one thing that I will give myself is that I'm really happy with how I jump and transition between games and between trends. And I do think if you're managing to do that, you're doing something really well. And if you're just sticking with one thing and not adapting, you're never going to last longer than like a few years on YouTube. You need to be able to change what you do.
You make it look easy, mate, but it's not. It's not. Me personally, as someone that's always been like a variety creator, I guess with a focus on CS in my content, because it's like the main game that I've played, trying to do different types of content is hard, and retaining an audience on different types of content, and you've done that. You've jumped between different games, so it's no small feat, mate.
Yeah, I think, yeah, it's I'm happy with it for sure, and I think that's why there's always a little bit, I think in everyone's back of their heads, there are content creators, there's always that thought like, what if people just stop watching me tomorrow? And I think that has gradually gotten smaller and smaller the more time I've managed to stay relevant through these changes. And it's always nice to know that if something does come about and Fortnite suddenly falls off and something else takes its place, which is what generally happens, most games or most trends don't disappear without something replacing them, I can hopefully continue my success on whatever's next. That's always the goal.
So would you say these days you're getting less stress from the work than you used to? Do you still find stress from specific things? If so, what is it?
There is a direct correlation between your emotional investment and the success or failures of your content. Like, they go hand in hand, and there is almost no way to separate them.
It's so hard, dude. Me coming back to YouTube this second time after taking a break, the whole point was this time around, like, first things first, I knew I'm going to have to build things back up. So my views are going to be way less, whatever. But you have to just not care about the views, subs, whatever. You just have to go with it. But it's hard, man. And what's funny is that you're at like the very top end of the food chain, but you still feel that stress, right? From like views and like if something in your perspective has underperformed or whatever.
Yeah. No, that never goes away. And it's because YouTube is based around comparisons and constantly one-upping yourself. Like even YouTube Studio literally will rank your last 10 videos and tell you how well they're doing, which is quite a new thing. But I feel like most top content creators probably did that anyway, but it's now literally there as stats in front of you. So if you upload a video and it's your worst performing video out of the last 10 uploads, it's right there in front of you for YouTube to tell you that you've messed up and your video is doing badly. But I think, so I've definitely evolved, but have definitely not fully separated myself from feeling happy when videos do well and sad when videos do badly. It's just not quite the same extreme.
It's really hard, man. Sometimes I think I should see a therapist about this stuff to try and sort it in my head, because it's like, it's so hard to have that complete separation. And I think it will be revealing to people watching, knowing that someone with that's reached the level that you have, you can still feel that stress. I remember there was like a summer, like not last year or the year before or something, we were texting, and it was during my break, and it was when you were mainly focusing on Fortnite.
Yeah.
And you'd become like the #1 Fortnite channel in the world at the time, I think.
Yeah, I think it was around that time. It was kind of mad.
Yeah, and you were getting like 400 or like 600 million views, something ridiculous, like absolutely crazy. Again, to put it in perspective for you guys at home, my channel on its own, over its whole lifespan, has like 120 million views or something like that. And his channel was getting that per month. And we were talking, and then you were like, yeah, I'm feeling a bit stressed at the moment because my last month wasn't as good as the month before. It's when Fortnite was taking a bit of dip. So I'm like, all right, let me check this. I'm like, I go on Social Blade. And he'd gone down from like 500 million views to like 300. And I'm like... I think the perspective doesn't change. The numbers just do, right?
It's all personal. And I think... Yes. So Mr. Beast could be getting X number of views a month, but if they drop, like, that'll be bad for him. And totally get that, like, comparatively within the whole of YouTube, it's still successful, but you almost need to have that self, like, assessment ability to be like, this isn't good for me. What can I do? And the funny thing is, if the months you're talking about, is the months I'm thinking about, and just to give more accurate numbers, because I don't want people to think I got 500 million views a month, but I did get...
I might be getting... I'm not trying to like portray the wrong thing here.
So I did hit at one point, I think 2 months in a row perhaps, I think I hit about 200 million views 2 months in a row, which was wild. And it was during or just before the summer of 2018. So Fortnite was in its first year of Battle Royale release, and it was just... something else, man. You know, it was worldwide famous. Like, it was insane. And actually, funnily enough, looking back, like, my content didn't evolve very well during that period, which is really interesting. And it took me a while. Like, I think you can very easily fall back on your successes and not look at ways to improve. So back then, I was basically sitting down, playing a lot of Fortnite, recording it all, picking out the single best game, adding an intro to it, and then putting that game after it. So the editing was very minimal. Whereas a lot of the other content creators were starting to take a lot of games and cut all of them down to like a big highlights reel. The editing was very much on a different level. And YouTube's algorithm started to flip a little bit as well, where it was less focused on how clickable your content was, but also brought into the algorithm how much of the video people were watching. And although I may have had a really cool title and a good basis to the video, because it was unedited and a little bit boring in comparison to some of the other content creators, people weren't watching for quite as long as some of the other videos. So as a result, mine started to drop in how much they were being shared and how much YouTube was pushing them around the site, and everyone else's started to raise. And it took me a long time to actually sit down and be like, oh, I need to really switch up what I'm doing here. But to go back to your point, yeah, like, doesn't matter how many views you're getting, for you, if it starts going down, it's always going to hit you for sure. Yeah.
Let's go back for a bit, man, because we've talked a bit now about like YouTube meta and like some factors in what you do. But I again, one of the things that we mentioned, you start with COD, and then from COD when Pokemon Go popped off,
yes,
you became the Pokemon Go guy, and then from there you dropped Pokemon Go pretty much. You were doing some real life stuff with Claire as well, and kind of went back to COD. And then that's when I think Fortnite started to pop off.
Yeah.
And now these days you're doing like a bunch of different things. And so, but none of this would be fair to speak about unless we talk about that initial like season, a few years or so, where you were the Call of Duty guy. You still are one of the Call of Duty guys, but there was a period of a few years where you were the Call of Duty guy. Like, how did that happen? So, even going back before then, like, so you started uploading videos with your mates on your YouTube channel. What happened next? How did things progress?
Yeah, that's kind of a crazy period. And you know what? I think my mum sent me a picture of it. And I don't know, there was a few pieces of paper. So basically, I was in the Call of Duty scene back in the day. And back in the day, arguably, to my knowledge, Call of Duty gaming videos were probably the biggest gaming video genre on YouTube. There wasn't really anything else. For whatever reason, I mean, the game was huge at the time, so it made sense. But I was never the biggest going into it. But I was watching content from the beginning. So to go all the way back to the OG days, this gives you an idea of how different YouTube was. I went onto YouTube before I even had Call of Duty and typed in Call of Duty commentaries and watched every video that had someone talking over gameplay, and there was literally maybe 6, and then there was no other commentary gameplay videos on YouTube. Like, they did not exist. So I was there from the beginning as a sort of like consumer of that content. So I was always watching other people, and I always knew what other people were doing, and to have a few thousand subscribers back then was crazy. So I started doing my thing. The videos were like maybe like a compilation of a few kills. I was doing a little bit of sniping montages. I was never that good at sniping.
And at this point, how many subs and like how many views per video and stuff?
It took me like a year to get 100 subscribers. I always say that. It took me a long time to build up that first subscription base. And then, slowly started getting a little bit more, like 1,000, 10,000. So at this point, maybe I had like tens of thousands of subscribers before I started blowing up. And so it's really random. I'll give you the exact story. I won't leave anything out. I was randomly on a YouTube channel page, and I think his name was either Pyrotoz or Pyropuncher. There was
Pyropuncher, I remember that name.
Yeah, there was one of those content creators. They both had similar names. And one of his zombies videos had hundreds of thousands of views, which was huge back then. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, none of his other videos have that many. Maybe a few thousand, maybe 10,000, which was really big. And I messaged him. I'm like, bro, do you mind if I ask what you did on that video? Like, have you tagged it differently? Like, did you upload it really quickly? And he was like, oh, I just had tags. Like, I had these closed caption tags. And I'm like, okay. Basically, and this still works to this day if you go on Google. If you use quotation marks to put words together. So, for example, say Call of Duty is 3 words. If you type those words into a search engine back in the day, it would search for cool, it would search for of, and it would search for duty. And then, like, anything that made sense with those words combined, it would also put together. But technically, you were searching with 3 individual words. If you put quotation marks at the beginning, before cool, and after duty, you were then searching for just the term Call of Duty, that specific term. So no one on YouTube was doing this. If you went into your tags and you put quotation marks, Call of Duty quotation marks, you were then putting a tag on your video that was the term Call of Duty. Whereas everyone else on YouTube was just putting in the tag cool, putting in the tag of, and putting in the tag duty. And as a result, my videos started to get resurfaced a lot higher than the other content creators. And that was what that guy, Pyrotos, Pyropuncher, I can't remember his name, did to make his zombies video blow up. So I suddenly had a really good traction within the search engine for my videos. So I started to cover things really quickly. So when a zombies map came out, I'd use these closed caption quotation marks for the name of the new zombies map, get it up really quickly, and the views just suddenly like came in like times 10 what they ever were before. And I was like, wow. So even then I started to shift to like a news-based system and like more of an informational based channel rather than the montages or the random gameplays. And that was when my niche was found, was all the way back then. And that, I mean, that carries me through until this day. Like I still do news-based videos. And then, you know, I started when E3 every year, for example, you'd get the very first look every year at E3 of the next Call of Duty game, be it at the Xbox conference or the PlayStation conference, whoever had paid Activision the most money that year to get exclusivity for the DLC. So I would sit there, screen record the conference, and capture the Call of Duty segment, download it or have it on my PC really quickly, intro it, play the clip, and then post-commentate over the clip to give a little bit of information and put it up within like an hour, like as quickly as I could. And those videos would get me... in fact, the most viewed video on my channel today is still one of those E3 videos, like tens of millions of views, guaranteed. And I was the one capitalizing on a news-based system and a reactive-based system that no one else within the COD scene was covering very well. That is the raw start of how I got all of these views back in the day. And yeah, and then, so going back to the original thing that I said about my mum and the piece of paper she found, I would write down my numbers, and then I'd write down everyone else's numbers that were way above me. So, for example, it was me, like maybe 10,000 subscribers. It was like X-Jaws, 700,000 subscribers. White Boy, 600,000 subscribers. Woody's Gamer Tag, 400,000 subscribers. And comparatively, their sub growth gain and their already existing subscription size versus mine, I was never going to catch them. Like, it was physically impossible. They would just grow and I'd slightly grow. But I managed to overtake all of them. And it was a case of looking at the one that was next above me. Maybe it was another channel with 50,000 subscribers. I'm like, I want to overtake them. But I look at the next channel, I'm like, I want to overtake them. And then ultimately, I was knocking them down one by one by one. I think the last one was T. Martin. I think he was the biggest one I ever had to overtake. And he was crushing it. And it was tough. And then when I got past him, I just flew, baby. I flew. But I was competitive. Dude, I was
literally about to say, I didn't know that you had like this competitive edge with YouTube or general life. Like, are you a competitive person, or?
I think I am. I don't show it though. That's the thing. I don't show it because
I didn't know you were sitting there scheming back at your little piece of paper. That's so sick.
So if I don't like to say that I'm competitive, because then if I do badly, I can fall back on the fact that I didn't care about what I was doing. That's what I would do, which isn't good. Like nowadays, I will actively say if I'm like trying to do something well, if I don't, you know, it's a learning process. But yeah, like I am hyper competitive, and even to this day, I compare my channel stats to all other Fortnite channels all the time. And I'm constantly looking at somebody that's doing something better than me and working out how I can integrate that into my own content, because that's the only way you get to the top is by beating everyone else. It sounds kind of harsh, but if you want to be at the top, you need to be beating everyone else, and it's not an easy feat.
And so then from there, you just carried on with Call of Duty. What year did you start doing some other stuff as well? Was there anything before Pokemon Go?
Yes, there was actually. There was. It's a good point. So, built up this channel based around Call of Duty, and sometimes I would try different things, maybe a little bit of Battlefield, maybe even like Titanfall back in the day. And, you know, it was well received, but I was definitely in a niche of shooting games, most likely first person, pardon me, and that was what my main channel was, and I was fine with that. And I saw Syndicate blow up within zombies and Call of Duty, and then integrate in Minecraft. And he did them he was very successful at both of them. But I was looking at his channel and I'm like, I do not know why this guy is integrating two very different games and audiences onto one page, like one channel. And it just always baffled me. I was like, if I was him, I would 100% have a COD Zombies channel and a Minecraft channel and build up audiences that want that content on separate pages. So when I decided, you know what, I'm so confident and in a routine with how I make my COD videos every single day, I want to create something new. So I created my More Allier page and I launched with 3 videos in one day. I launched with a Super Mario playthrough, believe it or not, going back to how much of a Nintendo fanboy I was. A Minecraft Let's Play, episode 1, and also another game. I think it's called Staxel or something. I only ever did 1 episode of that. I didn't continue it. And then basically my daily workload doubled instantly. So every day I was then doing my COD video, getting that out of the way, then jumping on Minecraft, recording half an hour Minecraft video and getting that up on my second channel. And it was really awesome because my fans really did follow me quite successfully over to that second channel. And that second channel is still used now, and I upload on it now just as much as my main channel. It's had some blips. But yeah, back in the day, I was diverging my content a little bit and trying new stuff way before like Pokemon Go came out. But the reason I mention that is because that More Allier channel and the content I built up on there and the audience I built up on there, I was purposefully building up a slightly younger audience. Call of Duty is technically an 18. And although, yeah, people younger than that play it, my audience was definitely older teens, younger 20s on that channel, I'd say. And my Minecraft or my More Allier's channel was like younger kids that just wanted to sit down and watch me like mess around in a fun game. And without jumping ahead too much, I was doing Pokemon pack openings and I was doing Pokemon related content on More Allier because I've always loved it.
It was Pokemon cards. I remember that. Yeah, I remember when that happened.
So I was inadvertently setting myself up for the launch of Pokemon Go without knowing how successful it would be. But I had garnered an audience there. Like, can you imagine if I was like, okay, I'm going to post Pokemon Go on my COD channel? Like, that just doesn't make sense. So I was really glad I had this second place to put content that wasn't just COD.
Yeah, if we move forward a bit now, Pokemon Go came out, and literally within like 24, 48 hours.
Oh, yeah.
More Allier had become like the Pokemon Go channel.
Mate, it was mad. And like, there's so many mixed emotions, like genuinely mixed emotions around that time. So first of all, it was me and Lachlan, who funnily enough now is like also a massive Fortnite channel. But me and him back then were arguably the 2 biggest Pokemon Go channels, and mainly because we both had a previous interest in Pokemon. So we were both like ready and waiting for this game to come out. We would share analytical screenshots every day because we were just like, I cannot believe the numbers we're seeing. Like, I've never seen...
What kind of numbers were they?
Oh, dude, I think I got well over 100 million views in a month on my second channel for Pokemon Go. Like it was just beyond anything I'd seen. And it took many years to see the amount of success, even on Fortnite, that I had seen on Pokemon Go. Like, just to give you an idea of how crazy that blow up was. But fun fact, Pokemon Go came out in Australia before it came out anywhere else. And I, to this day, cannot remember how I got Pokemon Go to work on that first day on my phone. I don't know what I did. Like, I don't think you can easily change your phone to pretend you're in Australia, but I did it somehow. And yeah, went out, put out a video, wasn't sure how it would do, and then woke up the next day and I was like, holy, this is doing well. And within 24 hours, like as you said, within 24 hours, within 48 hours, I went ahead and shifted all of my focus onto this second channel and Pokemon Go. And it's worth noting that up until this point, I was still doing everything myself. All the recording, all the editing, all the thumbnails. All of those years I've been doing COD, everything was me. And when this Pokemon Go blow up started, it was also always me. But it did transition me into starting to bring people on board.
Because you would have been working like 18 hours a day or something ridiculous.
Yeah,
man.
No, it was like the hardest I've ever worked. It is crazy. Give me 1 sec, because my camera's just...
Yeah, go for it, mate. Go for it. You back?
I'm back. So
I'm back in business, yeah.
So yeah, like no jokes, it was wild. So the type of content you make for Pokemon Go is very different to sitting in your room and turning on your screen and your PlayStation and sat in a chair playing. Pokemon Go is you get up, you go and explore a place, you vlog out in the public, and you constantly explore new places. So I couldn't get up and be like, I'm going to go down to my local park and film a vlog today, and then do that over and over again, because the Pokemon that were spawning there were exactly the same. So I was waking up, looking within like a half an hour drive vicinity of where I was living, and being like, okay, this park I haven't been to, going here today. Claire would go off to work because she was working at Microsoft at the time. I'd jump in my car, plan out a route, go to the location, film for like 2 or 3 hours, fit in meals in between that somehow, drive back home. Claire would come back from work. We'd spend a bit of time together. I would start editing. She'd go to bed at like maybe 10, 11 p.m. And then I would continue editing that daily episode until, no jokes, like 3, 4 a.m. Get the video up, go to sleep, wake up like 4 or 5 hours later and do the exact same thing for like weeks and weeks and weeks. Ugh. And then it got to a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm going to be so ill. And like, the editing was quite intense. I'd never really done like editing. Like, I never really enjoyed editing. But for these Pokemon episodes, I was like, jump cutting every single breath to make sure that I was like constantly talking. I would add in loads of Pokemon original sound effects when like I'd catch a Pokemon or a wild Pokemon would appear. I genuinely think that my content back then was some of the best, and I was really proud of it. But I was starting to really not enjoy the process. So that's when, shout out to my editor, Aaron, who I still work with to this day. Aaron came on board and he started helping me edit in the evenings when he wasn't working his full-time editing job. And to offload that work was just an absolute lifesaver. And he now works and is employed by me full-time. But yeah, it was a crazy period, man. And like the success was insane. Like it would be 4 a.m. and my video's about to go live, and I'd tweet out, I'd be like, guys, who's ready for another Pokemon episode? And everyone would just go wild. Like parents were watching me, kids were watching me, and I'd go and like film in a park, and everyone would be like, yo, I watch your videos. Like,
bro, let me stop you right there. I remember, what year was this? 2016 when Pokemon Go came out?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I think it was 2016. We were doing like a show together with a company in London. And again, to add a bit of context, guys, someone like Ali, like, you're going to get recognized sometimes, right, when you're out maybe in like a busy city or whatever. Yeah. But it's not like when you walk around anywhere, you're always going to be spotted, right? Someone's going to be like, oh, not all the time. Bro, when Pokemon Go came out, we were doing this shoot together. And then with some other people, I think Syndicate was there and some other people.
Yeah.
And Ali was like, I need to go film some Pokemon Go in the park. He needed to get his recording done.
Yeah.
So we went out to Holland Park in London. We took the cab there. And there were like people everywhere playing Pokemon Go.
Everywhere, yeah.
And I've never seen one of my friends, like whether it's YouTuber, CS player, esports, I've never seen someone get recognized in like a public area so intensely as Ali. Bro, it was like groups, excuse my language, like kids just rushing toward, oh, you're Ali A, mate! And they're all there with their phones, and he's like vlogging it. I'm like, wow, this is like next level. Do you remember that? Like when we went to the park? Bro, everyone was like, yo, it's Ali A.
It was crazy. It was crazy because
insane. Because obviously you're going to get that at a gaming event, maybe in certain places where you run into people from your demographic, but in general life, it's not like that. At that park, right? But at that park, during that time, you were getting seen everywhere. Bro, everyone on the street was playing Pokemon Go, and they're like seeing you got, like, it was crazy. It was insane.
I positioned my videos, and my videos were doing so well that if you were a mum and you were like, why are people playing Pokemon Go? And you went on YouTube and searched in Pokemon Go, you would probably start watching one of my videos. So like, yeah, we were in, and bearing in mind, as you rightly said, everyone was playing then. Like you go to a bus stop, someone will be playing. Like, so if they're playing, they're probably watching some content, and then they'd look up and just be like, oh my God, it's you. Which made filming harder because I was trying to like put up a camera, but if you put up a camera and start filming yourself, then they double look at you and they're like, why is he doing that? It was wild. And
bro, it's funny because you probably didn't realize when we were going, Holland Park is like a big popular park close to central London. Like it's like quite populated. It's like a well-known spot. So I knew if we were going there, you were going to film I knew when we were going there, it's like, bro, Ali's gonna get mobbed. He's gonna get absolutely mobbed by like all the kids, all the people we see.
The maddest experience, which I always remember from Pokemon Go, was in LA. Because I go to LA, or used to, not this year obviously, go to LA quite a lot, like quite a few times a year, because a lot of game companies are out there, and just general companies that we work with are based in LA. And obviously I was still filming Pokemon Go. So a bunch of us YouTubers, I think we were at a COD event, I can't quite remember. A bunch of us YouTubers went to Santa Monica Pier. And this is the #1 Pokemon Go spot in the entire world, because it's a small pier. And for those who don't know, Pokemon spawn locations is heavily influenced by your phone mobile data usage. So because you've got so many people on their phone in such a small area, the spawns were wild. Like, so the game was generating a lot of spawns there. So we went down and I was on the pier. I pull up my camera and, then someone taps me in the back. And then within 30 seconds, I had, no jokes, like 100 people surrounding me. And I was in the middle of this circle. And luckily, shout out Adam, who does a lot of presenting roles and is really good within the gaming scene. He was there with me. And he shouts, he's like, Ali, we've got to go. Powers through this group, grabs me by the arm and just pulls me out. And we just start sprinting, running to the nearest cab we can find. And there's mums taking pictures of me. And as they're taking a picture, they're like, who are you? Who are you? I'm like, why are you taking a picture if you don't know who I am? It was
That's so American,
ever.
mate.
Yeah.
That's so standard. Bro,
wild.
That's insane. Shout out to Adam, by the way. Adam Savage.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, so let's get to the next part of your YouTube title, which is Fortnite. So Pokemon Go dies down a bit. I think you're still dabbling in COD. What's happening from there? How did you end up hopping on the Fortnite train? Or should I say the Fortnite Battle Bus?
Hey! So firstly, if anyone is watching this that love my Pokemon Go videos, please let it be known that I continue to play Pokemon Go to this day, but content got really dry really quickly. They didn't update the game very well. Now, however, fun fact, if you do want to get back into the game, there is literally an event every week, if not 2 events every week. It's really well done. But yeah, the content dried up, and as a result, views died up, so I needed to move on. And then, so I was in this weird limbo where I kind of killed my COD channel because I did not upload for weeks on end as I was managing this sort of 18, 20 hour editing shift I was trying to pull off my Pokemon Go stuff on my More Ali A channel. And then when Pokemon Go died off, I was left with 2 channels that just didn't really have much going on. So it was a weird position. And then I remember, so me and Claire, we watched a trailer for this game, Fortnite Battle Royale. And we looked at it and I was like, building and shooting, wow, what a cop-out. Let's blend COD and Minecraft. This ain't gonna work. And we wrote in our diaries, okay, Fortnite Battle Royale is coming out on this day. Let's play it together. That day came and went. We completely forgot about it, never downloaded it, never played it. And then, maybe a week or so later, I started to see these Fortnite videos pop up in my suggested, and I was watching them. And I'm like, this is a really, really watchable game. I am addicted. I'm like, these videos are amazing. And I was like, you know what? I need to give it a go. So I uploaded the video, and it was my first time playing Fortnite or something like that. I had no idea how to thumbnail the game because it was a third-person game. I'm used to having a gunshot from Call of Duty. I didn't know what I was doing. I'd never played a Battle Royale. Fortnite was my first ever Battle Royale. A lot of the content creators getting into it played H1Z1,
PUBG.
Yeah. So I was really new to this genre. And I was terrible at the game. But I was seeing something in a similar way to Pokemon Go that I hadn't seen in a long time, which is you put out a piece of content and you get more views the day after than you do the day you upload it, which means it's hit suggested, YouTube's sharing it, and I was like, damn, there is a big Fortnite bubble going around, view bubble, place that the content's being shared within YouTube, and it's all Fortnite, and I need to get on it. So then I started a thing, fun fact, I started a thing called Fortnite Fridays, where I'd upload a Fortnite video every Friday. That's all I was doing, was one a week. And then the idea was if the video got enough likes, I'd do a Fortnite video on Saturday as well. So maybe 2 a week. And then I was like, scrap that. I'm just doing Fortnite every day. So and then it just took over the channel. And yeah, the growth was wild, man. It was so fun. I think because I had an editor at that point, like Aaron was working for me, and all I needed to do was sit down and play. It genuinely was some of the most fun I'd ever had. Me and Rich, who we still play games together, we have really good chemistry. He does YouTube videos. Me and him would just sit there and play for like 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. Me and Claire would sit after we'd done our work.
Rich, that's Itemp, right?
Itemp, yeah. So I've known him for years.
Shout out to Itemp. I don't know you personally. We follow each other on social media. Because Itemp's, again, old school Call of Duty legend, and then he sort of stopped uploading as much, and then he took like a second spin at things with Apex, right? And he started smashing it on Apex. So shout out Itemp. Anyway, Ali, carry on.
And then these videos just blowing up, man. And I was getting a lot of backlash at the time. Like, I turned a COD channel into a Fortnite channel, and to this day, COD fans do not like Fortnite fans. They just don't. So I was getting a lot of controversy, a lot of backlash for that. But ultimately, you got to take a step back. Like, this is my business. Like, and if a business is selling something that's doing really well, and you can transition to it and it works, you should. I mean, as long as you're not doing something really weird. But like, I wasn't. I'm just making videos. Like, there's nothing weird about that. I'm making entertaining videos. So I swung my channel to be focused on Fortnite. And yeah, it was wild, man. Like, a lot of people were quite slow to it. Fun fact, people like Muselk, Australian YouTuber, he stuck with Overwatch content for a long time. And it was December 2018, did the game come out? 2018, 2017? Anyway, the December that Fortnite came out, he was still putting out one Fortnite video and one Overwatch video every day. And I was just sat there like, dude, just upload Fortnite. Trust me, commit. It took people a long time to realize just how big this game would be. And I'm still here to this day uploading that content. But the blow up that game had was just unreal, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. This is why I'm happy that we had the chat at the start as well about what you're like as a person, etc. To clarify to anyone that might not be aware that you're a super nice person, you are how you are in your videos. Was it frustrating? And so for me, when I've seen criticism leveled at you in and YouTube comment sections, etc., it can be frustrating because it's people that aren't sort of like looking at the context, and they're treating you like an object, like you should be forced to do what they want. Was it frustrating? Like, which we've all been at the expense of comments like that. Was it frustrating for you at the time when you were doing that Fortnite transition, when a lot of people watching you seemed to have an issue with it?
Yeah, I definitely put out like a few tweets being quite blatant or quite blunt, being like, look, it's my channel, guys. I'm going to do what I want to do. And it didn't necessarily stop the comments, but like it put my stance on it out there for people to know, like, things aren't going to change. COD was not in a good place. The games were really poor for a few years in a row. And yeah, so what I do is now I don't reply to a lot of, if any, negativity. I try and just completely ignore it. What I do is I like write a reply in my head of what I would say and then move on. So almost like I've gone through the process of dealing with that comment, coming up with a response that's valid, and then, it goes by. But I don't actually do it, because one thing I really don't like doing, and I don't like other people doing, is giving more time to haters and more time to negativity than they do the people that are supporting them.
Absolutely.
And all you're going to do is draw in more of that negative energy, and it just doesn't make sense. And I just don't think it's a good thing for anyone to do. Just my opinion on that, to be honest.
No, dude, I follow the same thing because, bro, like, the internet anonymity, whatever, it courts controversy, criticism. Like, people think they can say whatever they want, especially when you're creating content. People think they have a level of ownership over it, etc. And it does affect all of us as creators. We see that and we're like, bro, what are you saying that for?
Yeah.
And it's frustrating, but it's much better to reply and to interact with those in your community that are positive, and maybe here and there address something that you feel like you should address. But 100%, with interacting with people, I follow the same thing you do, is in interact with the people that are positive towards you and that are supporting you as opposed to the negative.
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't know if this is on your topics of things to touch on, but during...
You think I have a list, Ali? This is all freestyle, bro.
So, during the Fortnite blow-up, Hey, doggy cam. Love to see it.
Yeah.
During the Fortnite blow up, oh my gosh.
I don't know what that was, but yeah. Carry on.
So cute. During the Fortnite blow up, and there'll probably be some people watching this that will probably only know me for this. There was a lot of controversy around like the clickbait phenomenon, and then also at a very similar time.
We have to talk about that. The concept of clickbait after this, but carry on.
Yeah, exactly. There was the clickbait drama and also the meme drama. So here's the thing. I'm at like the peak of my YouTube success ever, but everything's like in terms of people's opinions of me flips really hard, really quick. So PewDiePie does a few videos where he does like meme reviews and stuff, and I'm like front and center, 50% plus of the of the content for these videos. And the videos is all like my intro, bass boosted music leading into like a stupid statement, but based around the fact that like I'm clickbaiting a lot of these silly things. So like there was a meteor on the map. I'm like, what's inside the meteor? And some of the things he said are definitely valid. Some of them I think, you know, he was kind of joking a little bit, but maybe the audience didn't interpret it too well. But I was waking up and my Twitter mentions were like 95% calling me like some clickbaiting bad words, telling me to die, like delete your channel. Like it was very, very bad. Luckily, I'd already dealt with a lot of, you know, stuff in the past. I was an older person. I could sit there and not let it affect me. I genuinely don't think it got to me very much at all. But there was definitely a negative side to that where that did leak into real life a little bit. And people that, like, if I ever bumped into a fan, it was always a nice interaction. And then you were starting to get, like, these older teenagers or teenagers that only knew me because of, like, the meme. And, they'd see me in real life and they'd, like, shout stuff like, oh, you're a dickhead, clickbaiter. And I was like, that was really weird, like, to actually see those comments come to fruition in real life. And that was rough. And the issue I had with that is that when you become, like, this sounds really weird, when you become a meme, you are exposed to people that would never normally be exposed to your content. So people were seeing the meme, seeing the clickbait stuff, but were never watching any of my content, but then had an idea in their head of what Allier was and what it meant to be like me. And it meant bad things in their head. Yeah. And that was really unfortunate. And so for a long time, people would literally come on my videos just to hit dislike and leave. Like they didn't care about anything else. And I will put my hands up and say that I think I got a little bit too deep into like the view potential and the clickbait potential. There was always like a truth to the thumbnail and title I was creating, but I think I twisted it a bit too much sometimes. But yeah, like that crossover between people that didn't watch my content and having a negative opinion of me was really unfortunate. And if I could go back, I would definitely try and make that not happen, because that will probably stay with me forever now, unfortunately. Like people will still, like if I reply to someone on Twitter and the person only follows the person I'm replying to, but not me, they will probably only know me as like the meme guy, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you say unfortunately, but bro, it's like if people take that perspective and they don't actually take the time to learn what you actually do or about you, then their opinion is uninformed. So if they want to think that, who cares, bro?
That's true, but that is the reality of the internet now. People are very uninformed, unfortunately, and the number of people that will go and dig deeper into any topic, be it political, be it gaming, be it anything, is very low. Kids will see something for face value, adults will see things for face value, and that's what they think, unfortunately. But that's another topic in itself.
Yeah, it's a shame because, like, that meme format, because I know you, I thought it was funny, like the Allier intro linked to some ridiculous thing, and I'm like busting up seeing these Allier montages. And I, not that I know him at all, but like you don't like PewDiePie. Felix is probably not going to have made those videos thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to send a bunch of nasty people towards Ali A. Like that's almost certainly not that guy's intention at all. But then there are those people, those are the issue, right?
Yeah, unfortunately so. And you know what?
They decide to be like that.
It is funny. Like I've gone back now, like later and watched them, and like some of them are very controversial and are not PG at all. But there are funny elements to a lot of them. And I was sharing these with my friends off like behind the scenes and be like, haha, this is funny. But I couldn't share that online and be like, haha, this is funny. Because for a lot of people, it was a laugh at me, like, ha, you're a dickhead kind of thing. But yeah, it was interpreted however you wanted to interpret it. But yeah, it was what it was, unfortunately.
Clickbait. Let's talk about clickbait as an actual topic, because that word has changed meaning over time a lot. Especially from, let's say, when you started creating, when I started creating, to like where it is now. Because I think that's become one of the big issues on YouTube, is that people use that word to describe a video that could be super interesting, funny, informative, and with an interesting title and thumbnail that is related to the content, but is not like a completely straightforward forward way of portraying it. Which is not how the word clickbait originally came about. No. At least early on in the YouTube days, clickbait would be like a video where the thumbnail was like a half-dressed woman and some weird title, and then you'd go onto it and it'd be like a news segment. Where you're completely bait into watching a video that's nothing about what the title or thumbnail is. Whereas these days, people are like, oh, like, I don't think your title and thumbnail was exactly how I think it should have been. It should have been more literal. So that's clickbait. And I just don't think that's how it should be.
Yeah. And I think clickbait has taken on its own sort of, description of what people think it is. And you're right, like the evolution of the word clickbait is quite funny, really. I think if you take clickbait as a way of baiting people into click, but you are using organic things that are found within the video, and the person is clicking the video and is satisfied with the content they're watching, then, you know, that is the right way of doing it. And YouTube is very competitive. You need to be creating a very clickable thumbnail that is based on the content you're making, and, you know, doing it in a slightly creative way. I think you can get a pass on that. That's fine. And as you said, like, if there's no link, you know, that's a big no-no. Like, it just doesn't make sense. But clickbait needs to be applied in the right way to have success on YouTube. Fun fact, when I do not dive much into Reddit, and I don't think Reddit has a fond opinion of me, but I would go on there every now and then to take a look, just to have a little bit of a laugh. Muselk was putting a lot of arrows on his thumbnail, like just arrows. And, you know,
I remember when the arrow meta became a thing, and people were so offended by it.
Yes.
And people are like, arrows?
Yeah.
It's like, bro, it's just like a little bit of an image to draw your attention to something, or to imply that there's something of interest there. Like,
it's wild. Like,
relax. Anyway, carry on with your Muselk story.
Yeah, you basically said, so they would compile. Like,
I still use arrows, man. They're good. Yeah. They're like aesthetic. It's nice. Like,
they would compile his thumbnails and be like, oh my God, look at all these arrows. And I created like my own custom like new thing that was based on Fortnite's new logo. And I put that on there. And it was like, this is the pinnacle of disgusting clickbait. And I'm like, if the arrow's pointing at the new gun, if the arrow's pointing at something that's important within the thumbnail, it's a very valid reason to put it on there. It's another way to make you look at that thing and hopefully ultimately make you click through and watch a good amount of that video.
And that's not clickbait. That's not clickbait at all. Like, that's making an interesting thumbnail that's like frames well and has things that draw your attention to certain things that might make it interesting for you enough to want to watch the video. That's not clickbait. We need to change this going forward over the next 5 to 10 years. That's not how what clickbait was when clickbait was originally started being used as a term. That's like saying book covers are read bait. Do you know what I mean? It's like, this book's trying to make me read it. Like,
you know what's really funny is, that's actually a really good analogy. books are the ultimate clickbait because the title often has nothing to do with what you're about to read. Like it could be The Dark Woods. So you go and pick it up and open it to see what The Dark Woods means because you need to understand more. And then, I mean, the people that are the most successful on YouTube use clickbait really well. And funnily enough, a lot of them end up going back on what they think was bad for clickbait and just use it themselves. Like I have a lot of over emotionally like shocked face or happy faces in my videos. And fun fact, YouTube actually has
wait, sorry, don't forget your trailer. That's one thing that I've had people I know in real life and like esports scene and other gaming stuff that aren't content creators, and they say to me, "Oh, Paula, I bet you've posed for a thumbnail before."
Yeah.
It's a completely normal thing to do. And it's like, some people think that, like, for instance, I know what you're referring to on your video. I've done, if you want to make a thumbnail, sometimes you need to, like, have, like, a certain face, and it's something that you take as a separate picture to making your... And there are people that think this is, like, a bad thing. Like, this is, like... I don't understand. It makes there's no logic to that in my head. Anyway, what were you saying? So the YouTube algorithm that has something to do with what?
Yes,
faces?
Fun fact. Yes, YouTube's algorithm will analyze a thumbnail picture, and it will see it or categorize it based on faces and emotions. That's how deep YouTube's like algorithms go. So having a face of any sort on a thumbnail is always going to be a positive. YouTube will consider that a positive thing. And whether it's shocked, happy, like giving it an emotion is also helping YouTube understand the content you're making, and you want to give YouTube information. If it's a really messy image that it can't really understand, it's probably going to hold back on sharing your content because it doesn't understand what your content is. That's just a fun fact. But yeah, so...
But Ninja, I feel like I should be paying you a consultant's fee right now.
So Ninja, won't go into too much detail about him, but I will say that he's definitely cracked a joke or 10 about me on stream, for whatever reason. But he's definitely cracked a joke or two about, me being like, like a shock thumbnail. Go on his channel now, and that is what his thumbnails are, because that is what works.
I'll bring it up on the screen,
I'm sure of it. I mean, I don't check his content much anymore. His YouTube views are definitely probably down on what they used to be. But it this is a platform that will take the mick out of something and then realize it works and then put it on and then use it themselves. There will always be an evolutionary process to content and making your content more watchable, more clickable, and ultimately you're going to have to start integrating some of these elements into your own content if you want to compete with everyone else.
Do you ever have a chance to sit back and like smell the roses, because you still work so hard and you're doing so much? So just before we went live with this, I was asking Ali, what did you get up to today? What did you get up to today, Ali? And keep in mind, right now in the UK, guys, it's 4 p.m.
So we got 2 dogs, 2 cats. Wake up. They need to be fed. I need to feed myself. Claire starts getting ready. They have a morning dog walk just to alleviate some time in the mornings. Get them ready. It's raining at the moment. Coats, harnesses on. They get ready to go on the walk. We book in a gym session. Claire books in a yoga session. Go in. I have a really... my gym personal trainer is really nice. I get along with really well. Go in, smash a hard gym session, come home. Bearing in mind, in between all of this, I'm checking Skype, Discord, text, WhatsApp, communications between many different people across many different platforms. Today I'm gearing towards launching my merch site, so I've got to have social posts ready across the board for that. Come home, obviously... Got the time wrong for this podcast. Totally my fault. Apologize again for that, Parla. I've got to prep 2 pieces of content, one for my main channel, one for my second channel. They go off to 2 different editors. I'm there. I then actually missed a call with my merch team. I just let them handle it, and they updated me via text form to change some of the way that we're launching the merch today. Then talking with publishers, Sony, Xbox, about getting consoles early, and then also managing a build that's happening to our house at the moment. Builders on site, talking to PAs about stuff that's happening later on in this week, upload the files, handbrake files, add you on Discord. Like, that is a fairly normal day of content condensed down into what is now 4 p.m. and it will continue to go on until like probably 8-9 p.m. today, maybe later.
And you're doing that, you said, like 6 days a week or something.
Yeah, I didn't have a day off for many years. I was single, didn't really see many friends. We all just talked on Skype and made content together. I'm more YouTube friends back then. Now I've got other couple friends that we get along really well that live near to us. We make time for them every weekend, be it dog walks or whatever. Whatever we can do within the restrictions of this crazy world at the moment. But yeah, we have Sunday off and maybe half of Saturday. My issue is I really like working and I like working hard and I like working well. And I am happier if I'm more busy. I'm the kind of person where if you put me on a desert island and you're like, here's a week off, I would really not enjoy it. If I do take time off, it needs to be structured, it needs to be busy, and I want to do things. So I enjoy being quite busy as well.
Yeah, so my point being that you're still working super hard.
Yeah.
And you've made it to a point, like on YouTube and social media, where you're like in the highest echelons that you can be. Do you ever have moments where you sit back and smell the roses and you say, like, and you think to yourself, like, imagine if I told 14, 15-year-old Ali one day life will be like this? Or is it just non-stop work?
There definitely is. There is an element of like, you got to take a step back and be like, wow, this is crazy. But it's so hard to do that when you're constantly, every day is just trying to beat yourself. So like things become normal very, very quickly. And that's almost impossible to get around. I do like to try and take a step back every now and then. And what I do is rather than looking back, I try and do the opposite. I try and look forwards and think, what would I really what would I really appreciate in the future that I'm doing now? And I'm like, let me just sit here on the bed as we're getting ready for bed and be like, damn, like me and Claire, young, healthy. We've got 2 cats and a dog on the bed right now. We've worked really hard today and we're fit and healthy. Like, what a blessing. That's so fortunate. And hopefully that's something that maybe I wouldn't have thought about until I was a little bit older and look back on it, but I'm appreciating it now. And I think that's something I try and do. But yeah, like, I think what I'm trying to do is set myself up more for the future when I'm not doing this, and I don't have to worry about things that maybe other people will have to worry about, and be in a fortunate position where some of those stresses, monetary stresses, or whatever it is, are alleviated because of the position I've put myself in.
Ali, I sweat when I think about how much money you must have made from everything you do. Talking about going forwards, me personally, I like making videos. Like, for instance, right now, I'm building everything back up. Like, it's not earning me, like, a ton of money or whatever. But even if it didn't for the rest of my life, I still think I'd make stuff. For you, going forwards, do you see yourself keeping this as your work for as long, until the end? Or do you see yourself doing other things? Like, what's on the cards for the future of Ali A, I guess?
The immediate goal is always work more efficiently. That is the goal. And the goal is to try and be smart with my time, because I don't have much time. And the immediate goal is to put out content and spend less time on the piece of content while still making the same quality piece of content. And I think, I should be allowed to say that I'm spending less time on a piece of content, because I think the content we're putting out now is really good and really strong and better than when I was putting more time in like 6 months ago. And that's a learning process. And I think if you're not allowing yourself to have more free time to invest in other things, you're not evolving. I said this to another friend like last night, actually, like if I was, and no offense to anyone that does this, but if I was still sat there making 1 COD video a day, and I was happy with that, then that's just not me. Like, I need to be doing more. I need to be making more content, being smarter with my time. And ultimately, I can't launch a merch line and balance wedding planning stuff and do all of these things whilst making the same amount of content if I'm not smarter with my time. So my goal is to keep YouTube videos going whilst having as much free time to do other stuff. And me and my financial management team, investment teams, we are looking forwards into things that I can start doing that will earn me money without having as much involvement as the creation of YouTube content. Be it investing money in different companies, investing money in different people that ultimately will have a good return on investment because of the fortunate position I'm in now to have money to be able to do things like that. So yeah, that's the goal. I think, YouTube is such a great platform, such an interactive platform. It does generate good money if you do things the right way. There's no reason to step away from that anytime soon.
Ali, mate, I think that's the perfect note to finish this on, man. What a great bit of information and piece of yourself to give everybody.
One more thing.
Yeah, please go ahead, man. I'm trying to think about things in a similar way, actually. I think a lot of people think that when you do this stuff, it's easy. And as with my last guest, Sadakist and Jordan, nothing. The work that these people that we do is all very hard. And the goal to become more efficient at everything, to have more free time to enjoy and to smell the roses, I think is a brilliant note to end on. So yeah, go on, carry on.
Yeah, last thing I was going to say is, I know we really briefly went over sort of like the money side of YouTube, and what's really interesting, just for people watching at home, is that you never know how much money someone is making on YouTube, and I don't know how much other people are making on YouTube. It is very much a personal thing.
It's super obscure, guys, the way like CPM and all of this stuff works, and who you're signed to, and are your views worth as much as somebody else's? That's what Ali's referring to. It's you can have a general estimate, but it's very hard to know exactly.
Yeah, and everyone spends their money differently, everyone invests their money differently, and everyone earns money differently. And ultimately, if anyone's in a position to make content as a full-time job, money aside, I can guarantee you they probably started off doing it with no monetary sort of goal in mind. They just love doing it. And I know that, almost all of us content creators are just very fortunate and grateful to be in the position we're in.
Absolutely. Like, if we go back to the very start, well, not the very start of our conversation, but the start of your time on YouTube, like you just wanted to make videos of recording you and your mates sniping, and
I didn't mention that at all. But yeah, like you couldn't earn money on YouTube when I started uploading videos. Like it wasn't a thing, so I couldn't even think about it being a thing. So yeah, and a lot of people started in a similar way.
Who did you sign to early on? Was it Machinima?
Yeah. We that's a whole other topic.
And how many views a month were you getting at the time?
Oh, probably like a few thousand when it started off. But yeah, like maybe like my first paycheck was like $2.50 or something. Like, you know what I mean? It starts off humble beginnings, I think is the answer.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, guys, any of you out there that want to try this stuff, don't let anything stop you. If you thought you had a funny idea of recording yourself or you and your mates, whether it's a skit or playing games, whatever, just go for it. You never know what could happen, and if you really enjoy it, at least you find like an amazing hobby that you can do for the rest of your life. And in the best case scenario, you find something that you can turn into a tangible career if you do the right things. You agree, Ali?
Yeah, and there'll probably be one of you out there that will turn YouTube into a full-time job at some point. So keep on giving it a go.
Well, Ali, thanks for joining me, bro. I really appreciate it. I'll put all your social media in the description, and I'm sure everybody knows where to find you anyway.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's been really good fun. I love chatting about this stuff, so it's been super easy. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, when I get more episodes out with different people, I have to have you back on, because I could definitely chat to you for like probably another hour and a half, 2 hours when we have the time.
I know, exactly. I've got to go and sort out some merch stuff, but it's been fun. And if anyone's got any questions or anything else, I'll go through the comment section and maybe reply to some of them as well. So, yeah.
Nice one, bro. Peace out, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.